Hello, welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and this is Richard, and it is Wednesday the 28th. It's October 28th. It's Wednesday. Today is my second child, my second daughter's birthday, so I am going to wish her a wonderful and happy birthday. She's broke the big 3-0, so I remember when I hit 30. Oh man, I went into a depression. Yeah, I went into a depression when I hit 30 because back then I still thought 30 was old. So anyway, we're going to do a couple things today. Later on tonight, I have self-defense class. I have the regular week Wednesday self-defense class, and that's kind of morphed into more of a just a get together, and people just asking what if you do this and how would you do that, and it's not really an organized class. It's not really structured. It's just kind of a free-for-all at this point, and everybody seems to like it like that, so that's how it's staying. So anyway, it is also, let me check the temperature. We'll check the temperature here in a second. I got my thermometer out and set it up. We're gonna let it sit there for a few minutes, and then we'll check and see what it's like. It's probably, I would probably say it's in the 50s, and it's wet. It's not raining right now. It's been raining the last couple of days. It's wet and it's cold. But anyway, what I'm doing here at the van is I have this little case where I keep a couple Bokens, a Joes, and some wooden knives and things for class, and I am going to empty that out, and I'm going to take this along with me on the adventure today. So let me just get this stuff out of here. Goes the Joe, my two Boken, my possibly favorite weapons of all, just a couple sticks. And in this little pouch, probably the most effective weapon that you can ever have, knives. And I do believe there's one other item in there. Yep. A garrote. Fantastic item to have. I actually made this out of some PVC pipe and some spider wire fishing line. Anyway, this is now empty, and this is going to go along with me on our little walk today. I'm thinking we're probably going to walk about 3 miles or so down the path, and I'm going to carry this with me as well today. Now this only has 3 items, well 4 items if you count. Outside of it, I got a machete. I have a saw that I made, and we will set that up and use that today. I have an axe, and I did clean it up and sharpened it, and I got a few comments about it being dull and rusty, but well, all I can say is it was on purpose. Well, the rustiness wasn't on purpose. It just happened, and I decided that I was going to use that to the best of my ability just because. But I did clean it up and I did sharpen it. And I have a Dollar Tree sharpening stone, which works fantastic, by the way. And I'm going to be carrying that along with me as well. So real quick, before I tell you what we're going to do, let's go over here and let's check out the temperature for today. Here we go. So let's focus in a little bit. Looks like it's about, what, about 54 degrees. All right. A few days ago, I walked down the Nickel Plate Trail headed south, which is actually the first time I've ever really walked any distance south on this trail. I mean, I do go south on it a little bit to get to a few of my spots in the woods, but I went 3.5 miles south on that trail, and I found some really good trees that I want to harvest to create arrows, both for the bow and for the atlatl. And there's a few that I want to gather up for actual bow making. So that's why I'm bringing this along with me, is because instead of carrying the sticks and limbs by themselves, maybe I can get them inside this bag, and it will help me carry them a little better. And of course the cutting tools, so that I can get them down in the first place. So let's take off and go on this adventure. So real quick, just to kind of demonstrate what I'm looking for, this tree right here, which I am not going to cut down, but this is the kind of tree that I'm looking for. Something that's just slightly, there we go, slightly less, or I should say slightly larger than my hand can get around right now. And it's very nice, it's very straight, you know, like that. You know, this one right here, the smaller one right here, you know, although it has a lot of limb extensions and stuff, this one here would also work. This would make a nice atlatl arrow, things like that. So there's another one. There's several of them back around here. This one here, even this one here would make, well, that's got too many bends in it. If I didn't have to take that one, I wouldn't. But anyway, that's what I'm looking for. These kind of trees like this, that's that diameter or smaller, depending. That would be for a bow, and the other smaller ones would be for atlatl or arrows, but really nice long straight ones. So right now I'm heading south, and I'm finding a lot of really decent limbs and small trees that I could harvest, but there's a few specific ones that I want that are a couple miles down the road, well, a couple miles down this trail. And what I would like to do is, instead of collecting any of this stuff on the way and then having to carry it all the way there and all the way back, I'm just going to let it sit here, and I'll pick it up on the way back if and when I need it, as needed, because right now I have access to this area quite easily. Right now I'm only about 1/10 of a mile away from the house, so I could come down here anytime I wanted and pick up these limbs and small trees. So what I'm really interested in is what's a couple miles down this path. Squirrel running around. Here is, right there, that one right there. I definitely want that one. If it's too flexible for a bow, which it may or may not be, it'll definitely be good for an atlatl arrow, or even a spear, although I'm not quite really interested in spears right now. Alright, so I am very interested in making sure I get this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take it down right now, and I'm going to leave it right here so that when I come back it'll already be cut down and I won't walk by it and forget about it. So I knew the battery was low. I don't know when it died on me, but whenever it was, I got the tree down. I've cleared off the majority of the limbs, and I'm just going to leave that sit right here, right along the trail. I don't see anybody messing with it. And on the way back, I'll pick that up and carry it along with me. So let's continue on this trek. Right here, look at this. Beautiful, beautiful. Look how straight and nice that one is. That one right there is going to become an arrow. Right there. Fantastic. Well, to be totally honest, this is as far as I need to really go to get what I'm looking for. Because what I'm looking for is right here. Just find a nice straight piece of wood. It doesn't even have to be horribly straight. I mean, once I start carving it down, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm actually leaning towards this piece of wood right here. That's quite right there. Starts to bend up a little bit, but I don't need it that big anyways. So that's really what I'm looking for right there. And I don't know if I even need to go any further. As a matter of fact, I think I'm good. I think I'm just going to go ahead, and this is the one that I'm going to get. I'm going to take this, and I'm only, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile down the road. No need to even go any further right now. This is my bow right here. So I made it back to the garage. I've got both of the trees in here, and I have a few items that I want to discuss as far as length, because this is what weaponry I am going to be making these things out of. So for example, just a regular arrow, bow arrow for me, we have 31.5 inches. So all of my bow arrows should be around 31.5 inches long. Now, here is the stick that I got for a bow arrow, and it is absolutely going to fit that. Right there is 36. Looks like it's going to be about 45 or so, something like that. So this is going to be long enough once I get it shaped and scraped and everything. This will make an arrow. So this is decent. I like that. This should make a decent arrow. So that's arrows. Now, as far as my stick is concerned, 26 inches. I could go up to 28, but I'm very comfortable with this 26-inch stick when I work. That's what I'm accustomed to. So if I have any scrap that I can make any sticks out of, I just have to be just 26 inches long. Now, my Joe, which is nothing more than a 4-foot stick. That's really all it is. It's just a 4-foot stick. This one may be actually 4 feet 1 inch or something to that, but it's basically 4 feet, and it's just my Joe work. So 4 feet's about the longest weapon I like to work with. I'll tell you that right now. I don't really like to work with weaponry that is longer than that. I don't get into bows which are 6 foot tall and anything like that. So 4 foot right here for my Joe. Now, my atlatl arrows, I have been using these graphite rods. Just so happen, these are also 4 feet long. So my atlatl arrows and my Joe are the same size. Just the diameter is just slightly different, really. So there we go with that. Now, as far as the atlatl stick is concerned, around 26 inches, because I'm using one of my old broom handles that I cut, and it's pretty much the same size as this. So my atlatl handle is about 26 inches long, and I'm using these graphite rods which are 4 feet. So there we go for the dimensions on that. And lastly, the bow that I am using is the bow that I made out of PVC pipe. This is the one that I'm accustomed to, and this one happens to be 4 feet 10 inches long. So that's what I'm used to working with right now, is a 4 foot 10 inch bow. However, the dimensions that I got for this bow, which I just cut out just for GP, just to play around with it so I could get used to it, right here. This one here is just an inch or two taller than I am, and I'm 5'9". So this bow is around 5'10", 5'11", is the size of this bow. So depending on what I decide to make size of the bow with this big one here, it's either going to be the 4 foot 10 or maybe the 5 foot 5'9", 5 foot 10, something like that. So compared side to side, see, can you see the top of that? Yeah. There's the bows right there. There's the distance, the difference in size, which isn't a whole lot, but like I said, I'm very accustomed to a 4 foot 10 bow, and I have not really messed around with the bow that's bigger than that, but we'll see. So there are all the dimensions that I'm working with on the different weaponry. Whether I'm making a Joe, whether I'm making a stick, whether I'm making an atlatl arrow, whether I'm making a regular arrow for a bow, or whether I'm actually making a bow. I have all of my dimensions, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to figure out what I want to use these for and figure out what parts of the tree will be best for them, and I am going to cut them, but I'm going to cut them slightly larger than what I'm going to need. And after I get done with that, they're just going to sit and they're just going to season. Alright, so I cut this off about 6 feet tall, and I'm going to just let this sit out, and it's going to season for a while. And this is what came off of the bottom section of it. And I'm going to cut these into rounds. I'm not sure how thick yet, but I'm going to make have these for projects, both for my outdoor survival and also for my my belief system. So we'll see what these turn out to be like. I don't know how thick I'm going to make them, but you can clearly see right there. That'll make nice little rounds for me. So we'll see how many of those I get out. Let's see here. The other stick, the other one I was able to get 2 out of. Here is possibly a bow, which is the size just slightly shorter than myself. So this is possibly going to turn into a bow. It does seem to have a nice possibility of flexing, but not being too flexible. So we'll see how this turns out. We'll set that over here. And then I got a second piece, which is actually just 36 inches long after I made the other piece. So this could possibly become one of my sticks. Shave it down and even it out a little bit, especially right in here, and there's a nice little bend there. But this could just turn into just a practice stick. So that's those. And then of course what will eventually become an arrow right here. We'll set that down as well. I also collected several others that possibly will become arrows. I'm not 100% sure whether they will or they won't, but as you can see, there is a potential here for them to become arrows. A little bit of straightening here. Of course, it's a little early to start that, but you never, doesn't hurt to do a little bit. There we go. Hey, that's not too bad. That kind of, well, there we go. That's a little bit better. So this is, might turn into be a decent arrow. We'll see. I'm not sure about these others, but I have them just in case. So there we go. That's the potential that I have. I have a couple possible bows being seasoned right now. I have definitely one arrow, if not maybe a couple more over here. I could go out and collect arrow pieces all day long if I wanted to, and within 2 or 3/10 of a mile away from me, I have plenty that I don't have to go any further for. So with that, I say thank you for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and enjoy the outdoors, even if it's just your own backyard.